AirDrop is a very beautiful thing. Constantly, I've praised it as one of the key reasons I am not okay with moving out of the Apple ecosystem. There is no alternative parallel to AirDrop that is as seamless or as cross-platform. There's things like Android Beam and the Samsung Tap feature where you can send files directly to other devices, but the thing is, Apple is in this closed dome, okay? And in that dome, you can take beautiful pictures on your iPhone, beautiful video with optical and digital video stabilization that's in 4K or slow-mo, or you can take those beautiful portrait photos, and if you want them to go on your MacBook, you want to edit professional vlogs in Adobe Premiere with them, you want to edit them in Final Cut Pro, you want to edit your photos in Photoshop on a desktop class hardware device like the new MacBook Pro. All PCIe based solid state storage, razor fast processing, dedicated GPU, all of that can work so well with your phone because of AirDrop. You don't have to back everything up to the cloud. It's getting easier now since Wi-Fi is getting faster than ever, or if you live in a terrible spot like I do and there's no good Wi-Fi, I rely on services like Verizon Unlimited. So we have unlimited LTE data here that is 50 times faster than our Wi-Fi, which is terrible. I'm looking at you, AT&T, and that would allow me to upload all my photos and videos to the cloud, whether it be Google Drive or iCloud Drive or Google Photos. There's all those servers, and then typically you would go onto your MacBook and find them on Google Drive, iCloud, or Google Photos and download them again. Where AirDrop saves so many steps. See, AirDrop locates devices using Wi-Fi, but it transfers data via Bluetooth. This is really smart because it means you don't have to have internet to transfer files wirelessly. And this is how it should work, right? So I could be on the top of a mountain with no service at all. Complete dead zone. Zero LTE, zero 3G, absolutely no internet, no Wi-Fi, and I could have my MacBook Pro right in my backpack. Want to work on videos or photos I'm taking, I can simply AirDrop them from phone to MacBook. And the great thing is it's really fast. With AirDrop, there's no upload and download process. Both of those procedures are happening simultaneously. As one device is sending data, the next device is accepting it. Instead of having an independent party up in the cloud that takes your data and then shoots it back down to a different device, AirDrop just connects the two. It makes a lot of sense, and Apple has really perfected it. Now, why am I talking about it? Because of all things Apple has within their dome, I think this is the one thing that needs to breach out of that and become accessible to third parties. Now listen, I'm very heavily an Apple sheep. I don't really care about Apple making their services and software more available outside of their hardware realm. Like, personally, I've used AirPods with the Galaxy S8. It doesn't work very well. I don't think Apple should allow that. I just think if you're going to use AirPods, you need to use them on a true Apple device to really experience their full potential. So I wish AirPods were just within Apple products. I don't need iOS to be outsourced to other hardware developers. I think iOS is perfect on iPhones and iPads, and if they moved it onto third-party hardware developers, it would suck. Or if they put Siri on third parties, if they let Siri be accessible by smart home devices so that you don't have to have an iPhone to have Siri, I would hate that as well. And I'd even hate Apple Watches compatible with Android smartphones. I think that completely destroys the whole purpose of the Apple Watch. So all I'm trying to say is I'm not for Apple opening all their doors, because I really think the great thing about Apple's ecosystem is the optimization between hardware and software. And as soon as you start opening doors like Microsoft and Google does, just so that anyone can make whatever they want with your software, you end up with a very inconsistent and unreliable piece of tech. And I think Apple's not interested in that. I'm fine with this. Apple, please, for the most part, keep all your doors closed. Don't put iMessage on Android. The Apple Music app for Android is kind of a joke too. I don't know why they did that, but just keep your services to yourself, except AirDrop. And here's why. One of the biggest complaints that I think had the most justification on the new MacBook Pro is that they removed the SD card slot. I am a filmmaker. I use SD cards every single day. I'm using two right now, one for my camera and one for my microphone. And when I'm with my friends making videos for other channels, I use sometimes 3 to 4 SD cards at once. Now I have to use a dongle to import them into my MacBook, which is a little annoying, but transfer speeds on the MacBook Pro are so fast that it's not too big of a nuisance for me. Though it does feel a little retro and unnecessary when we live in a time where wireless data transfer is so perfected now that I still have to store all of my files on physical media, like these tiny SD cards that are really easy to lose. And if you're filming with drones and GoPros and other devices like that, you're working with micro SD cards, which can literally be blown in the wind. You can lose your files easily. One time I dropped my SD card on the way to my house, and that card slowly started to deteriorate. It worked for a couple years, and now it's dead, and you have to replace it. I feel like Apple would look at this as an opportunity. If they would outsource AirDrop and say, okay, look, any third-party developer can now use our AirDrop feature, which again, only requires Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and most modern modern DSLR cameras have that now, that DSLR camera would show up in the AirDrop menu on macOS and even iOS. Why not? So you can have a dedicated button on the camera or have it in the settings of microphones, DSLRs, and even studio grade cameras like Red cameras. If they could equip the next generation of photography with Bluetooth 5.0, and Apple could add Bluetooth 5.0 to all of their Macs, iPhones, iPads, everything, it allows such fast data transfer that we could essentially stop using SD cards or just leave them in the camera and you never have to take them out. I think that would make assembling the cameras a lot easier, and it would make importing a lot easier to know that you don't have to open the bottom, pull out the SD card, or sometimes, like in my case, you have to take the camera off the tripod, plug it into your dongle, and then put it in your MacBook, and then drag in the files. Instead, what if we just had the AirDrop feature that works so well on our iPhones and Macs, now bring that to DSLRs, microphones, and studio grade video, so that with just a few taps, you can see your MacBook and AirDrop those video files, and your camera can stay right on its tripod, your microphone can stay right where it is, and via Bluetooth 5.0, which of course has a very wide range and very fast data transfer, all of your video files will seamlessly go to your laptop or desktop. Apple then, people I think would be more okay with removing the SD card slot on the iMac, the Mac Pro, and of course the MacBook lineup, which you've already done. To me, this would be the most sensible replacement, because when you remove a port on a MacBook, you're telling people that there's a better way to do things. And currently, Apple, I have to kind of agree with your haters that using the dongle with the SD card slot and then importing it, that's not really better than what we had. I'm not saying you need to add the SD card slot back, because that would be pushing innovation backwards. That would not be progressing. But if AirDrop was available to third parties, that would be progress, because now everyone, not just iPhone users, this means studio cameras, people that do filmmaking as a profession, and YouTubers like me who use SD cards all the time, wouldn't have to keep pulling them out and importing them and removing dongles and packing all this. Help us achieve this wireless future, Apple. Let AirDrop be accessible to everyone, all developers. And if you're not gonna do that, then start making DSLR cameras, because your iPhone cameras are good, but they're nowhere near as good as the cameras all us creators use. So, what do you think of my pitch of letting AirDrop being accessible to everyone? I think it would definitely be the way of the future, and I wish Apple could see this video, and I hope you guys, if you're not using AirDrop very much, could try a couple times. It's very slick, and it's very handy, and personally, I think it's really underrated. People like never bring it up in arguments about iOS and Android. It's just so seamless between desktop and mobile. I use it all the time. Oh, it's great. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.